Good morning to everybody. Good morning to all visitors of amazing Ukraine. So we're going to have a very interesting talk with Scott, who is American and live in Ukraine for 6 years. He is English teacher, so if you're interested in teaching abroad, it would be interesting for you as well. Before our talk, I would like to tell that our defenders, Ukrainian defenders, still fight for Ukraine on the front line, and everything depends on them. So my friend, who is artillerist in Ukrainian army, he requested drone. They need his brigade need drone, and they collect some money. If you would like to participate in this, please read in description. I put there are all information how you can donate for drone for Ukrainian army for my friend, university friend. So thank you very much for support Ukraine. So Scott, you can present yourself. Where you from? What state in US, and how you moved to Ukraine? And by the way, what education do you have? If you have some special education as an English teacher.
Okay. Yes, I can answer your questions. Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. So my name is Scott. I'm American. I was born and raised in California, and then when I was 18, I moved around, largely because I was in the military for about 6 years. I got out the Army. I lived in New Mexico for 5 years, where I got my education in social work. And then there was complication. I was hoping to get into a grad program. It didn't happen, and I spent mostly a year frustrated, bouncing around, driving people crazy. And finally, the idea was, why don't I teach English abroad? It was I get to
I
see
would
the
like to
world.
ask, so you was in the American army, in
Yes,
US army,
yes,
for how many years?
6 years.
6 years, wow. So you have some military range.
Yeah,
Did you
yes,
take part in any like war on
yes. I
that?
did 2 tours to Iraq.
Iraq? Yeah. I think it's
So
difficult experience if you go into such country for fight.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you decided to change your career and you decided to like be teacher abroad. You told that you are from California. I know that California is like many people think that this is paradise, that there are live rich people and you can in money easily there. How you think about this idea, life in California?
the weirdest part was, I can remember when I was a kid, I didn't want to live in California. I saw myself leaving. Um, Over the years, it has reinforced that California was not a place for me. I just never really felt like I belonged there. It was weird.
Did you live in big city or in
Yeah,
small? In big city.
I was close to Los Angeles in a city called Long Beach. It was a pretty big city. Um, but it just wasn't really for me. Um, I never, since I left California, I never really felt ever going back. Yeah, I think about it here and there, but I never want to go back to California.
Understand.
Um,
Your parents, what did they do there in California?
my mom worked for the airlines for United, and my dad worked for a shipping company out of Los Angeles. And so um,
Just like ordinary American family. That's...
We would classify like upper middle class. I mean, I had a good childhood growing up, but it just even when I saw it as a teenager, it was just getting expensive and was harder to. I didn't really want to work 60, 70 hours a week just to live in California.
Mm.
It just the lifestyle to live there didn't really work for me. So I just
Yeah.
love the idea of taking a bag and explore the world.
Yeah. Do you know that in Ukraine, teacher and doctors, they do not have a lot of money. Their salary is just average. But here in Great Britain, actually teachers can have good life, can actually, they considering as a middle class. So
Mhm.
probably here a bit life difference. Yeah, but many people consider that you should work hard for achieve something, and I don't know how about America, because probably and in America, like American dream, that you should achieve something materialistic. So you decided to go in abroad, but did you choose Ukraine?
Well,
Uh,
this was a funny time in my life. I I graduated from university in mid 2014. I thought my grades, my achievements during university, my military background, I thought
So what university did you finish? It was like pedagogy university for teachers. You
no,
have a
no, no. This was my background was for social work.
social worker. Oh, okay.
So I had nothing. I didn't want to do anything with education at the time. Um, it was a general degree. I could work with all ages, anyone that anyone in need. I was to be there to listen and try to help provide service and then help them out in their time of need. Um, but for whatever reason, I didn't go into the grad program, and it was a difficult time. Just couldn't find any work. I didn't want to move to another state. Um, so my family in 2014 was kind of pushing me to like go on holiday. Because I hadn't been on holiday for years. I got out of the military, and then went right into school, did schooling, and I just never had a break. And I wanted to do something that was wild or crazy or what people thought was crazy. I didn't think it was crazy. And my first trip overseas was to Ukraine.
Yeah. Why to Ukraine? When you first time heard about Ukraine?
There was multiple reasons. I always wanted to go to this part of the world. I was a big growing up, I loved watching World War II films, documentaries. I just wanted to go see these historical sites. And I didn't really know much about Belarus. Really, Belarus was never, no one really talks about Belarus, or no one really knows about Belarus.
Yeah.
They still talk about like the last dictator of Europe, and that's it. Relationship with the United States and Russia was pretty much was not really good. So I didn't really see myself going to Russia. So I was like, I guess Ukraine.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
could
it was in
go
2000, you told in
14.
2014. 14. It's in the time of Euromaidan, I think, when we have
This is
revolution.
Yes, your country was in the news. Still talked about the fighting in Donbass. The airline shot down. The Malaysia airline was being mentioned, and until everyone was freaking out, was scared, like it's got crazy. What's wrong with him? Why is he going to Ukraine? And that's why I kind
Yeah,
of kept it quiet. But it came out, and people were like, "This kid is crazy," and I'm like, "Well, you said a holiday."
yeah. You know,
And
in
it
that
was,
time, yeah, in that time, many people were afraid to go to Ukraine, but in
yeah,
the same time, they get new knowledge about Ukraine, and they were curious what Ukraine is, because before it was like part of Russia or something,
yeah.
or Soviet Union, but after, I understand, because in that time, in 2015, after Euromaidan, I was in London for 3 months. And my
Mhm.
friend told that don't come back to Ukraine because you will be killed. I told that no, I will not be killed. I had a dream to be tour guide in Ukraine, in Kyiv. So I came back and I started my tour business, tour agency. It was really very nice experience, and I hope that I will come back to it. That is why I'm here.
Well, I was there for 2 weeks, mostly in Rivne. I just I just had like a picture of Ukraine, and it was like kind of like throw a dart, and it went to Rivne, and I'm like, I'm going to Rivne.
Rivne, oh, sorry. Rivne, this is the city in western Ukraine.
Yeah.
Why you came there?
It was random. I says I want to go somewhere random and somewhere. Um,
So not to Kyiv, but to
I
some.
landed. I was in Kiev for a day or two, but I didn't. I walked around Kiev, but I spent most of my time in Rivne and
Did you
that
have
area.
somebody there, like friends?
No,
No,
that was
just
the best part.
why you decided to go there? Because I never have been there. It's in the north, west north of Ukraine. I was nearby Zhytomyr. We have toured there, but in Rivne, I think not. It's like a bit wild city in the north of Ukraine.
There's
You would
really
like,
nothing
you
there.
wanted to experience some like real
Yeah,
life in Ukraine.
yeah. Uh, this is what we call going to the deep end. I just jumped in and says, well, if we're going to go wild, we're going to go wild. And
Great.
so I went to Rivna. This is where I got the idea. Someone told me, why don't I go be a teacher, an English teacher?
So who advised you to be English teacher?
I was just a local. I was having a conversation with at the hotel. I was bored
Mhm.
by myself, and she kind of suggested this, and I'm like, okay. So, like, the requirement was to take a English class, a TEFLA, CELTA, TESOL, one of those. They're all the same.
So
Um,
they did not require from you some special qualification for English teacher. It was okay that you was native speaker.
so the requirement was at the time was a 4-year degree and 4-year degree in English.
Yeah. So no
So,
matter what degree do you have, like social worker, it's
yeah,
fine.
a
Yeah.
bachelor in social work was not a problem. So, um, and then you learn some basic stuff, and then after you complete the course, they'll you get with agents or links will set you up where to go, what part of the world you want to go. There was really nothing in Europe at the time, so I went to Asia for 1 year. So I went to Thailand, and I went to Thailand for 4 months. It's a place where you want to go party, not to work.
So it was after Ukraine.
Yes, this was in 2015.
Yeah. So you left Ukraine. You came there just for visit.
Yes, just a visit.
Yeah.
I was there for 2 weeks. Come back.
Hmm. By
Went
the
in.
way, where did you live in Rivne?
What's that? I never live. I just visit.
No, I mean that you took some hotel or some
Yes.
part.
So I was in the city for a week.
Understand.
So I came back, did my education. Went to Thailand for 4 months, taught teenagers.
Sorry, what kind of education did they ask some? Or
Oh,
you just finished your education, like
I
social?
finished my education in May of 2014 with my bachelor's degree.
Like, as a social worker.
Yes.
Ah,
And then
understand.
I got a teaching certificate, a TESOL, teaching English as a foreign language.
Yeah, I know that here in England, for teaching English as a secondary language, you need to have this CELTA, I
TESOL.
think, or at least TOEFL. Actually,
Yes.
for official, like school, if you'd like to teach at school, you need CELTA. If you just online, it's TOEFL, it's okay. Yeah.
My experience is they're all the same, but in Ukraine, they were really pushing hard for me to get a CELTA. So, but
So after Thailand, you came back to Ukraine.
nope. I went to Taiwan for 8 months. It was the worst 8 months in my life.
Yeah. Why?
Um, no one really spoke English. I was the only foreigner in my district. I was the only white person in my district. I could have lived in the city, but with my schedule, it was really, I it would be like every night running for the last bus or getting a taxi to take me to my apartment in the city. So I stayed in my district I was working, and I had a hard time adjusting the lifestyle. And then I saw the opportunity for a job posting for Ukraine, teaching adults. There was two other jobs in Czechia and Estonia. For whatever reasons, I was never accepted, but they took me for I was accepted for a job in Ukraine, and I left. I was all happy. I didn't care, and
By the way, did you use like special agency? You work with agency, or how did you find job?
at the time was known as Dave's Cafe for English teachers.
Is it
Uh,
like website online?
yes, there was a website,
How it's called? Sorry.
Dave's Cafe,
Yeah. So
or
there are.
Dave's ESL Cafe. I can't remember. This was
Yeah,
like
I
years
think
ago.
now there are different kind and
Yeah.
agencies and actually who advertise the work.
So I was there in Kyiv for 6 years. Married, started my life. My wife, during my whole time, wanted to see Lviv, Odessa. So
Ah, uh, yeah. Before just this, we met through the special group for foreigners in Ukraine. It's called Expat in Ukraine, very useful group in Facebook. Yeah.
yes,
And there are sometimes is advertisement about teaching jobs. So if you're interested in teaching in Ukraine, you can subscribe to their page. It's really useful. Yeah, and there are there are Cool Deep from India. Hello, he wrote the message. So thank you for watching the stream. Hopefully it's useful for you. And there are one my subscriber from Czech Republic asking you, what is your official status in the country, and how did you live in Ukraine? Did you have visa, like working visa?
yes.
Okay. Did
So
that visa was provided by by school?
yes and no. This was before the war, so usually companies did not want to be official. They were kind of operating in the gray zone. So, um, a lot of times it was kind of questionable where I was working. Like my first job in Ukraine, uh, they were offering teaching service, but they had something to do attachment with a church, so they had a religious exemption from the government. But
like teaching from the church.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
paid or not?
yes,
Yeah.
so I would go. So I went to Hungary, Poland, and Lithuania for my visas. You do have to get a work visa every time you get a new job. As an American and mostly a lot of European countries, for to go to Ukraine, you're in country for 90 days without a visa.
Yeah, I know that you can stay there without visa for 3 months.
Yeah.
So did you manage to make a working visa in Ukraine?
Yes.
Great.
So I got a work visa. My last visa was a family unification because I was married. It was because I was married to a Ukrainian, and then you apply for basically temporary residency. As long as you're working or going to school, you can apply for temporary residency, and you renew it every year, and you just get like a card, and it shows you have temporary residency, or it's known as a post visa. No, yeah, post
Okay.
visa.
So till now you have temporary residency in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Understand.
And then about
So this is
2
not
years.
like Ukrainian passport. You have
No,
US
it's like a
passport.
driver's license.
Yeah, understand. Okay.
And I still have a temporary residency under the government. Everything is on hold because of the war. So I can cross to Ukraine every time with my temporary residency. And border guards will give me a fun time. Like they'll always tell me I need to upgrade to a permanent status, and then I tell them I'm not in country for more than 30 days. I have no address in Ukraine, and then they're like, "Oh."
So actually, you need to upgrade it if you.
So before the war, I was trying to my wife and I we didn't get me a permanent residency.
They didn't give you.
We could have, because I was about 2 years married, and I met the bare requirement for permanent residency,
Yeah.
and we couldn't do it with our schedules because we're both teachers. So we got temporary residence. I applied for a temporary residency, and then the war happened, and it put me in pause. So
So
has
actually,
made life
you
difficult.
can apply for a permanent residency in
Yeah.
Ukraine, and you can have like Ukrainian passport.
Yes, I will have I could be eligible for one. So I will have what I understand is 10 years. It's good for 10 years.
Yeah. So actually, you can keep an American and Ukrainian residency together.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
I'm still classified as American, because but I can have multiple residencies as long as I meet the requirement of the country. So
yeah, it's interesting because I think Ukrainians can have residency just in Ukraine in one country, something like this.
you're not
So
supposed to, but governments don't like it, but people do it.
because our oligarch, they doing different residency in different countries and make some mafia there. So I would like to ask, so did you teach in Kyiv, and how and what school did you teach? It was like private school for adults.
The first job was all my jobs were private language schools.
Yeah, there are a lot of private language schools in Ukraine, I know.
If you were going to want to make money, that was where the money was at, not in the public schools. So I did with adults, changed jobs, taught mostly teenagers and some adults in my second job. And
It was in Kyiv.
Yes, all in Kyiv.
Yeah, understand. So private schools.
So I was living and working in Kyiv for 6 years, and I was in country when the war started.
By the way, I would like to tell that in Kiev is something like called American school. I don't know
Yep.
if it's official because I had tourists from Great Britain who
Mhm.
teach there some subjects. Yeah, and actually I think it can be good opportunities for foreigners to teach in school but have good money because it was like international school.
Yes, there are several there are several of these schools. I had a German friend. He was in a German school in Kiev.
German school. Oh, wow. So there are
Yeah.
some difference. Yeah, I heard that there's like the children of elite
Yeah.
Ukrainian rich people visit this school instead of going abroad for get education.
Yes.
One of such school is in central Kyiv in Nova Pechelska, I think it's called school, because my friend used to work there. It's like it's was found by Ukrainian deputat, the member of the parliament.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so if you come going to relation, because many people ask how to marry to Ukrainian. So
Oh my God.
I told them just come to Ukraine and meet people.
Well,
How did
yes.
you meet your wife?
What's that?
How did you meet your wife?
Oh, it was the funny part was we had a lot of mutual friends because when you're teaching, you pretty much know each other. People knew me, never seen me, but they knew me, and and we just had all these friends. And then Facebook, she just sent me a message or a friend's request,
You told that she
and
also English teacher,
yeah. Oh, she
but
teaches a
she's
lot
from
of she
she's
teaches
from Ukraine.
languages. She teaches lots of languages. So she does some German, English, and
Wow,
then she does some Polish for the Ukrainians.
wow, so very educated wife you have. Yeah, so she used to work also for private schools.
Yes.
Mm, understand. Yeah, it's cool. Uh, I think I visited some schools, private school in Ukraine, in Kyiv. I try to improve my English, but I don't know why it does not work for me. I feel like boring there. I just remember there are one American. He was Afro-American. He was very funny. He speak
Mm.
very fluently, and we just were relaxing. The best practice is just speak with native speakers, with different people. My first tour were in free tour in Kiev. Probably you visited free tour around Kiev. There are some
Mhm.
companies provide tour for free just for tips and show them Kiev. So I was practicing there and I met a lot of foreigners there. So it was nice experience.
Well, my wife will tell people that we met because she just wanted to practice her English.
I with somebody. Yeah, this is very good reason. I think many people even have some meeting online or conversation online. I remember at university I had very good friend from America who we just write each other. We did not see each other, but it's helped me to improve my writing skills, my writing English. It was so interesting because he wrote me about life in US, how he worked and lived there. I talked about Ukraine, so actually it's very nice. Did she from Kyiv or from some
She's
region?
from Kiev,
Kyiv. Hmm.
so yeah. But when we were living in Ukraine, it was always we always end up in Odessa and Lviv. So when people when I could see on the news or I see any updates of the cities, I'm like, oh, I know that area.
Yeah, so you travel a lot in Ukraine.
Mostly in Western Ukraine. I did finally convince her to go to Kharkiv, And then
It was beautiful before the war. I never have been there, but people told us it was really nice.
I love the city. I thought it was really beautiful. Gorky Park. My wife just loved it and was like, seriously? 4 years it took me to get you to come to the city?
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I know one girl blogger in YouTube who still live in Kharkiv, and she make beautiful blog about
Mhm.
how to cook, about interior, about Kharkiv. Although it's bombing all the time, but people try to find something beautiful there.
Yep.
And she has a beautiful blog. I don't know how people live there, but it's very nice person who show Kharkiv life and how they survive there. What is your favorite city in Ukraine?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, every city has something unique and beautiful. I mean, Rivne. There's this place called the Tunnel of Love, and my wife's like, how do you know
Yeah,
about this? I'm like, this I read.
yeah. I know that many tour guide provide tour to Bridge of Love. This is
Yeah,
something beautiful, but I don't know. I never actually have been there. I
it's
make some
cute.
like village tours to the
Yeah,
villages in Kyiv region.
I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah.
was cute. I mean, it's if you want like a, I don't know. My wife is she just loves these romantic things, so I'm like, Tunnel of Love, and she's like, okay. uh,
Have you been to Butski Canal? This is
no.
in Cherkasy region. In my region, there is
No.
beautiful river with many stones, with rocks, and people going there for rafting and for
Mhm.
climbing the mountains. No, not mountain, but there are some hills. So it's also nice
Yeah.
place.
Uzgrad, I was there with Uzgrad when the cherry blossom trees happened. It was really, my wife loved it. Uh, Difficult to get there, but
Uzhgorod, yeah.
yeah.
Uzhgorod is nearby Hungary.
Hungary and some more closer to Slovakia.
Yeah, yeah. Because my relatives live there, and I hope we will go in there to Uzhgorod. Uh, we go into Ukraine in April, and I took back tickets from Budapest. So probably we will stop in Uzhgorod as well. It would be nice to see it.
There is advertising. There are like trains from Budapest to Kiev. I was in Kiev in last month, in December, and I was seeing like trains were. There are trains going from Poland to Slovakia. Um, so
Ah, so did you take this train like Kyiv Budapest?
no, I took the train from Helm, Poland. It's a border town close
Yeah,
to Ukraine,
I know that this is the most popular destination.
and it's very hard to get if you're trying to go by train. Um,
What do you mean? Because it was. Did
my
you
wife
have?
had to wake up. Oh, my wife woke up early, and it was like refresh, refresh, refresh. She was having problems with the payment system and getting tickets in our
Yeah.
spot.
Mhm.
Everybody was trying to take the tickets and get tickets to go to Kiev for Christmas.
Ah, yeah. Especially for. It's
Um,
difficult to get tickets to Ukrainian railway because they open ticket just 1 month before or
yeah,
3 weeks before, and you need to be in hurry.
yeah.
I even put this date that I need to buy tickets this day because after it would be late. And actually, this train is expensive. You know that when we went to Hungary, it's was less expensive because what we did, we took a train from Kyiv, actually from Bila Tserkva to the border with to Chop, the border to Hungary, and from the border we took like small, there are electrichka, small train to Hungary, also just cross the border very quickly. Border police check our documents, so there were not many people on the border. And after we took also electrichka, the small train to Budapest. And that train, if you show Ukrainian passport, is 3 times cheaper than ordinary for Hungarians. So it was very comfortable. We went by train to central Budapest, and it was absolutely a nice experience. It was nice city. I like Budapest much. It was my first European city that I entered when I was.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. I loved it. I want to go back to it. But
Yeah. So for now, you live in Poland. You left Ukraine after the war. Where do you stay? You rent there. You live in not far from the border with Ukraine.
I'm not in a major city. I'm south of Warsaw. When we crossed the border during the war, it was the first city, and we just decided to live here. I had no interest of living in Warsaw. Didn't really want to be in a capital city, and I didn't want to be in Krakow. Too tourist for me. Too many tourists in Krakow. So I was like, okay.
I like Krakow. It's very beautiful, and there are many Ukrainians. Everywhere you can find Ukrainians there. You walk on the street, ask something, and they talk Ukrainians.
There are still Ukrainians in the city singing and protesting of the war. They're still doing donations. They're still collecting donations in the city, in Krakow.
I think I heard Ukrainian music in Krakow. It was nice.
Yep. There are like Ukrainians starting businesses in the city. So, and then it's like kind of funny. My wife, she's like, "This is a Ukrainian shop." Okay.
Yeah. Do you teach Polish in Poland in Polish school, or you teach just online now?
So I teach mostly corporate business English online. I do remote classes. What's that?
For companies.
For companies.
Yeah.
So there's not really a structure. It's just basically, from my years of experience, is with Polish and Ukrainians, they tend to struggle with native speakers. So I teach, like tips of how to understand when listening or reading, and then tips of when speaking.
Understand.
Students like.
Okay. So Ukrainian company, they like hiring you for teach their stuff.
It's a Polish company, but I do work with. I do have clients who are from still in Ukraine, so I teach both Ukraine and Polish people.
I understand. Yeah.
Not too different. It's the same problems they have. Polish have the same problems when learning English. So
yeah,
it's not.
We have a similar mistake, because when I have seen my mistake, I see the same, and with other people. But I think this is not so like bad that you have accent. Anyway, we are foreigners. Here in England, nobody take care about accent. Just they need to understand you.
That's the same with Americans. We don't really care. I don't really stress about pronunciations. I'm like, okay, how do I understand you? Do I understand you? And I just continue the conversation.
Yeah.
But students are like, how's my pronunciation? You're fine.
Yeah. But how did you find this job as working for business companies?
I think I applied online. I don't know how I did it. I think it was a job posting on a Facebook group, and I applied, and then they're like, okay, we have these hours, and that was it.
So do you do you just online, or you are doing some lesson in Warsaw or in Polish cities?
Mostly online
Mhm.
because it's just mm,
It is very convenient.
that it's convenient, but not a lot of people want. If you want to make money, you're not going to make money in Europe as an English teacher. Um, I
Ah,
mean,
okay. So you think that's the salary for English teacher is not very good now?
no, not really. I mean, compared to Asia or the Middle East, you know, you're really going to take a pay cut. Um, and then in Ukraine, it was all like everybody was pushing CELTA. So it was Cambridge this, Cambridge that. Do you have a Cambridge certificate? Cambridge,
Mhm.
Cambridge, Cambridge. And you're like,
Yeah.
and they're like, you're not doing what the Cambridge wants. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. So did you pass this?
Yes.
Did you get this certificate? I think in England it's very expensive. I don't know how to get it from Ukraine.
I went to British Council in Kyiv,
Ah, okay.
and going to my some of my appointments. They're like, you went to a school that is expensive. I'm like, I don't care, whatever. I think it was over $1,000. I know, I remember
$1,000 for CELTA
for 30 days in the classroom. Yes,
in the classroom, and they give you CELTA certificate or
yes.
Cambridge. Ah, okay. Yeah, I think in England here it's like 1,400, something like this. But I think you require to be there like for 2 months, something like.
Yeah.
Different university, different schools are doing it's here. But anyway, the main here is experience. Like many, yeah, they ask CELTA and also experience. But how can you get experience? If you can, I now apply for volunteering as a tutoring English online, volunteering, not paid, but you can get some experience. So I'm going to be teacher for primary school pupils, students. It
Well,
can be interesting experience. They will be British and people who need some support. And here I was also teacher assistant at school, so I help pupils with math, with their English. So actually it's not very difficult. It's rather simple. But I would like to get something online to be flexible because
mhm,
I would like to go to Ukraine at least twice a year. So it's complicated a bit, you know.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think immigrants, Ukrainians who are here, have very good opportunity to improve English and to get some experience in England because this is the country where you can get the language and everything. So we need to use these opportunities, not just working somewhere in McDonald's. Of course, yeah, there are people working McDonald's, yeah, but try to improve and get better and better level here and better job. So, it's just, yeah. So, and I think like, okay, one more question. Why you prefer Ukraine, Poland? What is difference with US, like, for instance?
I've been thinking about that question for a while. I mean, it's people here in Poland and Ukrainians, they all like are confused. You know, they all want to leave, they want a better lifestyle, they think going to England, going to Canada, going to the United States. And then when they hear people from like Canada, America, like all want to go to Ukraine, they're like, "Why? What's wrong with you people?" Like they think we're like my family. There are family members told my wife they like, is this guy a criminal? Is he like hiding from his government?
This is the relatives of your wife asked
Yes.
your why he is in Ukraine.
Why is
Why?
this American living in Ukraine? Is he a criminal? Because he must be a criminal.
Yeah, yeah. It's for people. It's weird. Many people probably in our mind that life is better in the Western country. Probably now is people get more and more to Western Europe, so they see how life is there. Life is not perfect here as well.
Yeah.
When I first time was in London for 3 months and I survived there, I decided it's better to live in Ukraine, that we have perfect life, that's compared to London, it's much more easy to live in Ukraine. Oh, yeah,
Well,
that's
to answer your question, why I chose Ukraine, well, it's because, well, I love Americans, but man, they're kind of funny. We love to talk about like land of the free. We're free people. Um, you know, we'll talk about Fourth of July, Independence, British, all that stuff, rebellious. And I'll say the last 20 years, I can't say we are free. I mean, as American living abroad, I have to report everything to my government. Where I'm getting my money. Do I have property? Do I have a bank account in a foreign country?
okay.
Um, when I first got married with my wife, my government wanted to know, is she a green card holder? No. Does she has this? No. And compared to the Ukrainian and Polish government, they don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
So even
yeah,
if you live abroad, you need to report about your life.
yes.
Wow. Yeah, but who care about it? I don't know. If you pay taxes, do you pay taxes like to Ukraine and Poland or to US?
Uh, Again, it was weird for me during Ukraine. The Ukraine government never really said anything, but no one really explained my during my time as a temporary residency. But I was told when I get permanent residency, or at least had, if I officially started a company in Ukraine, then I would have been paying taxes for Ukraine.
Okay.
That was a what we call like a gray area. No one really knew what to do with me, so they just left me alone.
Okay. But you is like freelancer or you
Yeah.
just work for school and they pay taxes? Listen.
Uh, yeah, it was up to them if they want to pay taxes or they weren't. But
Understand. So they are hiring you, so they pay taxes for you.
so as I said, a lot of times you're working for a company that didn't really want to take responsibility of you, um, but they wanted you and they wanted your skills. So you're like, so it was really weird. But again, the governments didn't care. Um, Under Poroshenko and Zelensky, both governments didn't care what I was doing in Ukraine. Here in Poland, I do pay taxes, but I still report all my income what I make to my government.
Yeah. And in Poland also you told that you don't pay taxes.
No, I
That's
pay. It's mandatory for me to pay taxes.
you pay taxes.
Yes, all Polish income is taxed. So I'm like, man.
I think probably because Poland is in European Union,
Yes.
so the rules are more restricted.
Oh
I
yes.
I think if Ukraine would be in European Union, it would be better for Ukraine because our life would be at least understandable.
I
um,
would say yes, it would be very beneficial because Poland, talking to my Polish friends, the 90s, the 2000s was really wild. Coming into the EU, I mean, it has benefit. They're talking about Poland's the fastest growing economy in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is why, yeah, it was very beneficial because I remember in 2015 when I was in London, there were a lot of Polish people, Spanish, I have many Spanish friends, Lithuanian, but unfortunately Ukrainian can just visit UK, but I even have had no work permission. It's very, for Ukrainians. It was like you have border with European countries, and you have no choice to develop your language and
Mhm.
skills. Yeah, and I hope that many Ukrainians now left Ukraine, and there are many Ukrainians who live in Germany and in England. My son, he speak very good English here in school. This is like his, I don't know, first or second second language. He
Yeah.
speaks Ukrainians and English very well. So I hope that these children have opportunity to come back to Ukraine and change our country and develop our country.
Well, so for me, like why I want to stay in this region is because there's this American. He goes around. Go where you're treated the best. That's his outlook on life. And for me, it was Ukraine and Poland. I'm left alone. No one really cares. I do what I need to do to make sure I'm legal, and no one cares.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
confused. Why is American living here? I mean, that's the funniest conversation.
I think in
Uh,
Ukraine we have also very good sociable life because many people on the street, many you can see in summer you can see a lot of concerts.
yeah,
In England it's a bit different because many people just stay home. In the evening we going for the walk and here nobody. Where are people? Here a bit different life.
well, last year when I was in Lviv, I did multiple trips to Lviv last year, and curfew was like at midnight, and you had shops open till like right up to curfew. You
Yeah.
know, if you just type in like the Opera House, there's this pedestrian lane. You'll see like live bands being played, restaurants are still open, and it gives you like a false hope that you don't think there's a war happening in Ukraine, not in Lviv.
Yeah, sometimes air alarm.
You hear it, but people are like, okay, because it's so far west that it's not really like they don't really experience it. I mean, yes, there are times when something happened. You see the effects of the war has touched the city, but there is still a nightlife.
Yeah,
You saw that in Kyiv. Well, not really in December, but you still had people on the streets.
yeah, I was in Kyiv last summer and it was beautiful. So many people on the street. In the morning there are rocket attack or drone attack, somebody fell down. But after they just clean and just open the cafe, just going around,
Yeah,
ordinary life. But um, was
and
I remember
mhm.
that people in Lviv they told that there are much more less foreigners now in Ukraine as before the war, but still they told that many English people volunteering. I know that I have very good subscriber from Great Britain who visit Ukraine as a volunteer. Many
Mhm.
Polish people go to Lviv till now. And also, I heard that some people requested a tour in Kyiv. They would like to see some war event places like Bucha and Hostomel, something,
Yeah, we
that's,
call that war terror, not terror, tourists. Like they
yeah.
just um
I think for us, the Ukraine would be attract some adventure people who would like before it was Chernobyl, many people going, a lot of
that was a
Chernobyl now go.
controversial. That was my time in Ukraine. Chernobyl was such a hot button topic. My friends and family just like, why you Westerners just want to go to Chernobyl?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you